Back Row Ministry, the World Premiere, Mr. Martin coming back at you live and direct from the Kia Optima Studios. Just want to do a quick piece on the movie Mufasa and just talk about the Disney company's continued agenda of politics and movies and trying to rewrite every facet of how things are, trying to create these chauvinistic and feministic sides of everything, even in situations where those things don't exist. So when we talk about the movie Mufasa, we talk about the tale of the Lion King. It's kind of his prequel, and we go into his origin story, his situation, how he got to Lele. And if you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But to see Disney try to interpret this from of course, its own male chauvinist and feminist ideas, and say that, well, these ideas exist in the wild or exist in nature. And nature is based off of instinct, but nature has a system where children have to learn certain things for survival. Children, especially lion cubs, are protected by their mother early on because a lion cub is hunted. Eagles, birds of prey, they will hunt certain things. You got other animals out there that definitely hunt and eat mammals. So a lion cub is not safe. So in the beginning, the mother protects the lion cub. I'm gonna go to my picture of my lion cubs here. So the mother does a lot of protection of the lion cubs, and you see early on in the Lion King movies, the cubs spend a great amount of time with their mother, but they also spend a great amount of time inside of their pride, because at some point they are introduced to the pride. So in the initial days of their lives, lion cubs are utterly dependent on their mother. They are born blind and only begin to open their eyes about a week after birth. During this critical period, the mother lioness is solely responsible for their care. Just like any mother of any child, the sole care of that child comes from the mother. Remember, the mother is the nurturer. The mother is the protector. So children, we tend to stay close to our mother up to a certain age. If you have a mother and father, you'll tend to stay close to both, but you'll still be very, very connected to your mother. You're going to be very, very connected to your mother. Remember, the mother, the lioness, assumes the role of solitary guard and provider early on. She moves her cubs to different locations every few days to avoid detection by predators. Typically, these hiding spots are well secluded, often dense thickets or rocky outcrops where the cubs can remain hidden from sight, because you don't want certain predators to see cubs. Like I say, there are things out there that do early on in a lion's life hunt lions. Nothing is safe in the wild. Introduction to the pride. Now, about 8 weeks of age, let's say about 2 months old, we'll say in human terms, the lion cubs are introduced to the pride. So at 2 months, these lions are now introduced to the pride. They're introduced to their family. They're introduced to their mom. Mom introduces them to their father, and they are introduced them to their whatever siblings they had that previous were there, and siblings that also of other mothers in the pride. They'll be introduced to the pride. The introduction to the pride isn't just a play date, it's a crucial step for socialization and acceptance. So we see in the Mufasa film, the issue in the film is that Mufasa gets lost, separated from his own tribe. He's kind of a stray. He's just out there, and the king of the pride that he comes across pretty much states that we don't want strays here, and he can just go hang with the women. First of all, the pride is not going to be separated like that. The pride stays together because they hunt together, they live together. This is a community. So this pride is going to stay together, and the cubs are going to remain together. But what we see in Mufasa, what they do is when Mufasa shows up and Scar's father takes him and says, no, you're going to hang with me, and Mufasa can go hang with the women. So I'm going to kind of show you what Disney tries to do with this idea, because this is not an idea that you try to sell to children, because it's totally incorrect about the bond and unity of that pride. That pride is connected. This is the socialization. The cub will learn from every member of that pride because they are together. They're always together. They're always around each other. And that's how that cub is going to learn. Social dynamics. So when the lion cubs are introduced to the pride, they begin to understand the hierarchy of social norms. They start learning who's who. So Scar is not going to be separated from his mother, or we over here, we over there, but they're going to pay attention. They'll see the lion kind of chilling out, hanging out. He's a protector. He does this, he does that. They'll see what the lioness is doing on a day-to-day basis, but they're observing kind of the social norms. How does this pride work? They do the play fighting, racing. They act the damn fool. They're kids. Playtime, remember, for lion clubs is not just about having fun. It's fundamental for their development. During these sessions, cubs practice their hunting techniques, improve their coordination, and strengthen their muscles. So they're learning, they're developing, they're learning how to hunt. And we don't see this in The Lion King. In Mufasa, you're under the interpretation that only the women hunt and the men just sit around and go to sleep. Because pretty much that's how they wrote it. That's pretty much how Disney wrote this. That the men go to sleep and the women do all the work. That's pretty much how they wrote it. This is not a community. The king just lays around and be lazy, and that's it. So we'll send Mufasa to the women so he can learn how to be a real man, basically. Because real men, according to Mufasa, just lay around and sleep all day. Learning from the pride. Cubs learn by imitating the adults in their pride. They observe their parents and other members during hunting, understanding the complexities of stalking, chasing, and taking down prey. They observe their parents and other members doing hunting, meaning the pride hunts together. Therefore, the things that you saw in Mufasa, what they were trying to teach, that only the women are out hunting. So Mufasa only has these ability to sense and smell prey. And Scar in the movie couldn't sense or smell anything, as though he never learned how to sharpen his steel. It's a bunch of BS. He's with the prey. He's with the pride. He's learning how to sharpen his senses. He's not just laying on his butt because Disney wants to portray men as just laying around and they protect the pride, but they don't do anything else. So Mufasa, he's a special lion because he took the time to stay around his mom and learn how to hunt. And Scar didn't do that because his father didn't let him do that. BS. Stop doing that. And that's what Disney does. So they're going to try to create sexism in the wild where it doesn't exist. Society exists in the wild. Social norms are expected. Men and women know who they are. But male and female know who they are. And at the end of the day, though, they work together. They work together as a team because the lion learned how to hunt from his mother. Because the mother is the key source of the development. And that lion has enough in far as its instinct to watch and observe, to learn. Play. Cubs start practicing hunting at a young age, as early as 6 weeks old. So we're going to about 2 months, 2 weeks. They start paying attention. They're playing, but they're watching how their parents hunt. The lion is hunting. The lioness is hunting. They're watching what they're doing. They're watching how they're stalking. They're watching how they're sensing animals. Observation. Cubs learn by watching their mothers and other lionesses stalk and hunt. Once again, cubs learn by watching their mothers and other lionesses stalk and hunt. So you're watching mom stalk and hunt. You're watching mom, and when the lion got to come in, he'll come in. But for the most part, we do know in the wild that mom does most of the stalking and hunting. But the children are watching and they're mimicking. They're observing and seeing what mom is doing. They're getting their sense of smell type. So Scar would have been with his mother along with Mufasa. There would never have been a separation like that. But that's kind of what the movie tried to sell us, that, oh yeah, well there'll be some form of separation at some point, because you don't need to hang with women and learn anything. You need to hang with the men and let the women do that. Pretty much that's how they tried to sell it. Participation. Cubs begin participating in kills by 11 months, but they probably cannot survive on their own until they are 2 years old. So by 11 months, before they get the first year, they're in the hunt. They're there with their family. They're learning how to hunt. According to Mufasa, Scar sitting over there with his dad. Man, I want to learn how to do that. I want to learn how to do that. No, you sit over here with me and just lay around and do nothing. That's the way Mufasa wanted to sell development of a lion cub to young children. And they continue to do this. You get these people who are writing this material trying to bring in these ideas that don't exist in a simple society that understands survival of the fittest and family. Lions ain't like us. We treat each other like crap. We don't teach each other anything. We don't take the time to learn from our parents and elders. We piss and crap on our parents and elders. So now we got to write it into a film about nature where instinct rules that, where observation rules that, where play rules that, where family rules that, because our stuff is messed up. And you got a lot of these folks who are writing this material that come from these traumatized backgrounds, who see the world or want to see the world their way. When the wild works its way. Survival of the fittest. But you got to learn how to survive, and you learn from your parents. Parentheses, parents, not parent. You're going to learn from both your parents. And they can't handle that because they want nature to work the way that they perceive it. The problem with man is our perception is flawed. We're so disconnected from nature, it is pathetic. And if you drop us back in nature today, we would not be able to survive. We would not be able to survive. You might get a handful of people that can raise a generation that'll be strong enough to create a nation. We couldn't survive. We're totally out of touch. We're totally out of touch. Where's the instinct? Disney needs to stop its continuation of trying to bring a concept like sexism to everything. Trying to sell sexuality to babies, which they ain't ready for that. They just learning how to play like these cubs. Remember, these cubs can't go out there to hunt for real until they're 2 years old. They're not ready for that. Stick with mom and dad. Learn what you can, because the times are going to come when you got to step up. And that's why our children are so far behind. We don't teach them anything. But Disney wants you to think that in the wild, in a lion pride, that one set just sits on a patootie and the children are taught, well, just sit on your patootie and, we'll send the stray off to learn how to hunt and survive. You don't need to learn that. You don't have to learn those things. Because you're just going to be crowned, That's Disney. And Mufasa's special because he took the time to learn. Come on, man. Stop. There's plenty of ways to write that type of story. But stop trying to always sell it this way. There is no chauvinism in the wild. The lion is the king for a reason. There is no feminism in the wild because the mother knows her role. She starts it off right on the back. I got to protect my baby. I got to do what I have to do. She protects her baby to the point where she does not even bring him around the father until a certain time. That's how much locked in she is on protecting her baby. She is in total protection mode early on in that child's life, to the point where the father can't see that child until a good amount of time. The wild works the way it's supposed to work because the wild in nature, the animal and creature has an understanding. We lost our understanding a long time ago. And we probably will never get it back. We never will get it back. We can search and search and search, but we never will get it back because we are totally disconnected. We're in our own perception. And that's not the Creator's perception. And we lost our connection with the Creator a long time ago. A lot of people don't even believe there's a Creator. We're so big and bold. Well, my mama created her, but someone gave her the ability for your mother and father to get together and do that. We're disconnected. And when we get a chance to see true connection, we mess that up because we needed to fit our perception of what it should look like and not what the Creator made it look like, and that's why it works. Everybody in the wild knows their role. Everybody knows their role. They have an understanding. Even that lion that early on in his life is prey. He understands the role. His mother understands the role, and she must protect her children. And when the time comes, they go into their role. They know what to do because they've observed, they've watched their parents, they've learned. Back Row Ministry, the world premiere. We need to stop. As a society, we need to stop because we're not getting any closer to the Creator. We're getting further and further away. Peace.